on my mind a lot. Don't need no time watch. I don't know how I got you in my pocket spot. Yeah, that's babe, need you every day. You like my oxygen. Make it seem like the barging down. Got my heart no barging in. From the bed to the floor to the couch. Might wake the neighbors up. Break you in, then break you out. In the end, we're gonna make.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of All Time High. I'm here with Dionna. Dionna, the market is moving.
I love it.
I mean, it's up and away. But I'm going to ask you a question. We're not quite at an all-time high, but tell me what the dumb money's doing right now. I mean, do you have friends and family that are calling you up and saying, "Hey, this Bitcoin thing, what's going on?"
Yeah, you think about it. I was telling him about Bitcoin 8 years ago, right? So almost a decade. I came in. I was retired Army, went into sports, worked a lot with the UFC and MMA fighters, and then actually left sports to go into crypto and Bitcoin. And because I was fascinated by the tech. So as I'm going back to these events, I'm talking to them and I'm like, you guys, you got to buy Bitcoin. You got to get in there. You got to do this. And they're all like, whatever. That's bad money. And now they're all calling me. Like, I just got a call the other day and was like, hey, how do you recommend we buy some Bitcoin? So I'm happy to see that people are finally coming around and seeing the opportunity. And the best thing is, it's still not too late.
It's still not too late. All right. So are people are asking you again about, hey, you remember that thing you talked to me about a decade ago? What do I do now?
Yeah. What's the best way to buy it? Where do I go? How does it work? And so actually what I said was, I have this podcast you can watch and that'll probably teach you everything. So I've just been kind of passing us along and saying, this is where you get the information, but I'm just happy people are finally getting in and getting involved.
I am too. That was the whole point and purpose of this show. And as we track, I know where you look first, but let's talk about that. The fear and greed index is at 86. So we are now just on the edge of extreme greed. This is no small thing. This is where people pile in. It gets greedy. You climb the wall of worry.
Yep.
We're in terms of all-time high, and let's be clear, there are two all-time highs here. One is Bitcoin. The other, the purpose of the show, is the all-time market cap. The market cap has now climbed up to 2.3 trillion, 2.33 for those keeping score at home. But a large catalyst for that, literally half of the entire cryptocurrency market cap, is the 1.2 trillion that now resides in Bitcoin specifically. And it's been on quite the ride. Do you want to break down? I believe the all-time high is right at 69,000.
Yep, which was 2021?
It was.
Yep, yeah. So, the first thing I have to say is, while we're anticipating this all-time high that's going to come, just as we talked about before, we had the Bitcoin ETF, we have the halving coming up in April. Those two things cross-intersecting is saying that more money is going to flow into the market and there's going to be less availability of Bitcoin for people to buy, which is going to cause the price, theoretically, to go up. Now, this is not financial advice. I just want to make sure you guys know this, that we are just sharing the information from the industry that we've learned. So take it as you will. But
it's economics. It's supply and demand.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another interesting thing I was hearing was one of the big reasons why the ETFs are starting to take off is because people think inflation is worse than they're saying it is, and they're thinking that it's even going to continue to get worse. And therefore, Bitcoin is the bet. It's the hedge against inflation. So why wouldn't you get into a currency that's going to go up in value while our currency is going down?
No, that makes all the sense in the world. And you can see here, I'm playing around on the screen looking at. We kind of topped out at that 59,000 on April 5th of 2021. And I'm trying to get it exactly to the right spot. I know it got up as high as
November, I think.
Yeah, it was November. There's 11th at 64.8. I know it went a little bit higher than that. And right now we are sitting on 63.11 as of today. I do believe the true number is 69 on 11.7 ish, but I could double back and check that out to make absolutely certain.
Yeah, so you think the trifecta, right? So inflation's going up, ETF money is coming in, or big money, institutional money is coming in, and the halving's happening. Now, for those of you who don't know what the halving is, the way Bitcoin was written, in order to create that scarcity, only 21 million coins will ever be printed. And the reward for the miners initially was to get more coins earlier when Bitcoin was released. And then as the time went on with Bitcoin, every 4 years, the rewards for miners gets cut in half. So now instead of 900 Bitcoin flowing into the market, you're going to have 450 Bitcoin flowing into the market. So that decrease in availability is going to increase the value.
All right, I got some bad news for your friends, or good news. I mean, because we're going to go to February 25th of 2014. That was quite literally 10 years ago.
Yes.
And it was only 600, and oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The market cap was 625 million. So, oh my God, or $625. So what is that? 10x had they invested at that time and held.
Right.
13.9, unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge market cap move. Oh my gosh.
I know. And I love the people who recognized it right off the bat, right? Like the ones who embraced it and grabbed it. And, you know, this is where you're seeing this whole new influx of young millionaires who actually have no business sense whatsoever. They just grabbed an opportunity and it made them rich.
So yeah, let's talk formulaically. Is it patience? I mean, strangely enough, patience seems to what wins this particular race.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, people freak out when they buy something. So if you bought it 60,000 right now and it drops down to 15,000, people freak out and like, oh, I just lost a quarter of my money. Well, you only lose it if you cash out, right? So the money's not gone until you move it into another currency. So if you kept your Bitcoin and you continue to ride the waves, just ride it out. Just like any other stuff, just ride it out.
I mean, let's keep talking though. We got patience as one formula, one criteria. The second is you don't really care what people think about you, or because if you share it publicly, you're going to be ostracized a little bit, especially initially, because it isn't a social norm. You're going to get put into the Elizabeth Warren camp. She's going to tell you that it's only used for bad, evil things. Meanwhile, you kind of got this weird dynamic of FOMO. So you've got the highest of highs, the lowest of lows. Patience is a byproduct of long-term success here.
Yeah.
But, what next, Dionna? What next?
Well, for Bitcoin, next is Ethereum, right? So Bitcoin's going up, but I feel like Ethereum's is going to be coming in, and that to me seems to be the next opportunity because we have the Ethereum ETF coming up. If you're sticking with Bitcoin, though, take profits when you want, take profits if you need to, but if you're not making money, don't cash out. Just hang in there.
Oh man, so I'm going to say that I don't think Ethereum has quite the regulatory clarity that some otherwise think it would. And I'm going to put this out on the table. Because of that, Solana has jumped into the mix quite aggressively. I mean, was a top 20 coin. Now it's a top 5. Yeah, with all my sports analogy, this is like a March Madness Cinderella team that was barely made it into the tournament, making it to the Final Four. I mean, holy cow.
Yeah, that Solana is another really good opportunity, especially when what is it at right now?
133.
Okay, 133. So I only need to get to 266 to double my money, right? And
look at that. It's up 500% in the last year. I mean, that's insane.
And I just heard CNBC talking about Solana today. So when you
really, oh yeah, no, it's part of the narrative.
Yep.
It's now part of the mainstream narrative. Watch out. That's why I'm like, this is a key one. And if you look, as late as October of last year, it was only $20.
I know. Yep.
Yeah.
This is where it comes. And okay, so here's the better thing, right? This is my favorite thing about crypto. You do not have to be an accredited investor. Anybody can buy it as long as you have an ID. Or you could go to different exchanges that don't have KYC, but as long as you can pass KYC, you can get into any cryptocurrency that you want to. So when you see an opportunity like Solana may be presenting at this time, take the opportunity, take advantage of it, because normal people don't have these opportunities. And that's why I love crypto so much.
No, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I mean, it's once in 100 years opportunity, but I always go back to utility. I even did back in the internet boom. It was like, okay, I want to make sure that this has some practical application for people. And I'm going here because holy cow, speaking of being up, I mean, that's all time. So we're just going to go a year out. It's up 61%. But Dogecoin, there's unlimited supply. I struggle with that. Part of why I like Bitcoin or many of the others, not all of the others, but many of the others, is because there is a limited circulating supply, which offsets the tendencies of countries to use and print fiat money too aggressively, thus causing inflation. But Dogecoin, there is no supply limits. There is no, that I know of, use case. Is there a use case?
No, it was actually made as a joke. So it was made to kind of make fun of crypto. And I think the saving grace to Dogecoin was Elon Musk. He got in, he got behind it for whatever reason, grabbed a hold of it, and made the prices go way up. But there is no utility to Dogecoin, and there's no scarcity to it. So the value is kind of hard to calculate unless there's a gigantic demand. So maybe if Elon tweets about it again, you'll see a huge uprising, but the utility just isn't going to come.
Yeah, if you look, that May 7th, I believe Elon was on Saturday Night Live on May 8th, and they even might have done a skit or at least talked about Dogecoin, but it went from next to nothing. And there are, as you mentioned earlier, Doge millionaires out there.
Yep.
And it went as high, what do we have here, as 37 cents. It's now at 13, but it's just up significantly. And it remains a top 10 coin, which confuses me. But Dogecoin is not the story of the day. Bitcoin is the story of the day. And I want to play for you a little set from CNBC and then have you comment on it. Now, one of my life hacks is I watch YouTube channels typically at 2x. But for our users today, just to kind of get to run into it, and hopefully they're watching our stuff at 2x. But I'm going to move this and play it at 1.25x. And let's see what they tell us. Brian Kelly's got some comments on CNBC.
For more on what's ahead for the crypto rally, let's bring in Fast Money friend and Bitcoin bull, Brian Kelly, CEO of BKCM. BK, where do you think we go from here?
Well, it depends on the time frame, right? So I think everything that you guys talked about is exactly spot on. So you have a asset that is bumping against a former resistance. You look at some of the kind of internals. One of the things that I look at it a lot is funding rates. And funding rates just a day or so ago got to 100%. So effectively, you could almost make 100% arbitrage. So that brings in sellers. We saw it hit 64,000 today, and a lot of sellers came in. So in the relatively short term, it would not surprise me to see a pullback. And I tell my team every single day, even in 2017, when we had, Ethereum up 4,000%, it still had a month that was down 50%. So this is an asset that is still extremely volatile. If it pulled back 25 or 30%, wouldn't surprise me at all. But long run, I still think we go to new highs.
Hi.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, he's spot on. I think again, it's up 400%, down 50%. I'll take those odds. I like those odds. I mean, because at the end of the day, I could still be up 350%. So one of the things he did say, though, that I think is important for us to maybe convey to our audience right now is what's arbitrage. Right?
What's arbitrage? My ears are still ringing. He said it could be down 50%, which I'm like, wait a second. It could be 32,000 soon. And okay, that doesn't feel as good. But go ahead, arbitrage me. What are you thinking? What are you hearing?
I mean, if I bought at 2,000, it goes up to 4,000, it goes down to 3,500. Am I really mad about it? I mean, I'm probably not that upset. No.
Right? So, but if you buy at 65 and it goes down to 32, you're not feeling so good.
Well, as long as you don't cash it out, it doesn't matter.
See, you have that patience genetic code. I'm more like, okay, I'm keeping score, achievement, score. So personality type matters here, I think, when you're investing in crypto.
It does. Oh, and your financial positioning matters too, right? So those who can afford to be a little more risky can take those rides. Those who are a little tight on money or maybe invested more than they really should have are going to feel that squeeze a little bit more than the people who have some flexibility. But jump into arbitrage real quick. So,
go ahead. Yeah, I want to hear about this.
Yeah, so arbitrage is, let's say I buy Bitcoin off of Coinbase at $2,000, which would be great if you could do that, right? Or $60,000, whatever. And then I find the opportunity that Bitcoin is now, higher or lower somewhere else or higher somewhere else. I can buy from one place and sell in another place. So I'm looking at all of the exchanges across the world, because remember, this is a global ecosystem. This is not something that's specific to just one particular country. So I can look at all these coins and say, if this exchange is selling this coin at this price, and this exchange is selling it at this price, I can buy from here and sell from here. And that's what arbitrage is.
I got you. Well, let's go where I thought arbitrage was and what I think of for maybe, I'm not a beginner, but let's just put it this way. Why wouldn't I flip if I feel like, hey man, I I got in at 32. I don't want to lose. This guy told me it's going to go back down to 32. Can I flip a portion of what I've got into USDC or USDT? I mean, is that a way of thinking about arbitrage to hold it?
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Why not? I mean, arbitrage to me is technically when you're flipping to take a profit.
So you're going exchange to exchange then?
You're going exchange to exchange. Yeah, you're looking for those price differences to create an economic opportunity, right? And so where I think that it's smart to take those profits from crypto into a stable coin is to avoid, I'm not a tax person, right? So not an expert. No, I'm not an expert.
Me either. Yeah, nobody is here.
The way I understand it is going from crypto to crypto is a taxable event, but you do not pay taxes until you go crypto to USD, right? So in fact, I actually had a guy, maybe it was Dogecoin. He had made $1 million. He made $1 million off of crypto, and he didn't take profits because he didn't want to pay taxes. And I looked at him and I was like, why didn't you call me? I could have told you how to handle this because you could have flipped it into USDC, right? And then, but do understand that when you report on your taxes, you do have to say, I bought at this price, I moved at this price from here to here. You will have to pay taxes, but it is a way to make sure that your crypto is not losing value as the market fluctuates. So it's kind of like a safe haven.
That makes sense. The thing for me, when I got in, I said, okay, I'm going to do 2% of my net worth. And then I watched as it grew to 5 and 8 and then 10%. I'm like, yeah. I started paying a lot more attention. Now, it was during an upcycle. The volatility caught up to it. It went back down to 8 and 5%. But I realized that being in the cycles at the right time would hold true to any investment thesis, which is buy low and sell high. So the real question, Dionna, for everybody, and it's not financial advice, is how high is this thing going to go?
Ooh, I wouldn't be surprised if we break 100K this year. And I wouldn't be surprised if we do it soon. We've already gone up 10,000 in a month? Easy.
Easy. Yeah.
So I don't think it's unreasonable, especially with the halving coming, all this institutional money coming in. And I do want to say that when you're predicting markets, if you're going between crypto winter and a bull market, Bitcoin is usually the indicator of how that's going to happen. So when you start to see Bitcoin on the rise, you can just pretty much anticipate that the entire crypto industry is going to hit a bull market. Therefore, there's lots of opportunity within it.
And what I've seen, and you can qualify this, but as Bitcoin goes up and people do take profits by moving into USDC or otherwise what's called a stable coin, they then start to divvy up some of those into altcoins, and it's called alt season. Yep. And watch out, they start to run. And so it looks to me like Solana's already started. I don't think BTC is tipped over. ETH does have some upside, although I do see some regulatory issues out in front of it, even though they had the Hinman speech. Clearly, there was an ICO. And so whether the government's going to let that slip through or not is really kind of up to the SEC. And what I've seen of Gary Gensler as of late, he ain't letting much go through. If he can take his pound of flesh, he has a tendency to do so.
Yeah, so if FTX was doing it, it'd be a different story, right?
It would be a different story. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
In fact, let's close out this episode and move over to our next episode, which will be about FTX. Dionna, I'll talk to you on the other side. Have a great day.
You on my mind a lot. Don't need no time watch. I don't know how I got